Greetings, everybody, as we get ready for some more college basketball. And from the gorgeous Atlantis Resort, we welcome you to the Bad Boy Mowers Battle for Atlantis. North Carolina in the house, game 2 of 4 on the day as they will take on Alabama. All right, so here's what happened earlier. Michigan and Iowa State. Tyrese Halliburton, a career-high 25. He was brilliant, but not enough as Xavier Simpson with a double-double, and Michigan was able to prevail. Juwan Howard's team off to a good start, and they await the winner of this matchup. Still to come, Gonzaga and Southern Miss, Seton Hall and Oregon. Welcome courtside, John Shambi and Jimmy Dykes. Game 1 was fun, some good offensive flow to it. In this one, we'll get a look at Cole Anthony, who's not just one of the best freshmen in the country, he's one of the best players in the country.
He's a triple-double waiting to happen every time he steps on the floor because the dude can score, he can pass. He's probably the best rebounding guard that I've seen in a long time, especially for a young kid, but he's the real deal now. He's being projected as one of the top 2 or 3 players taken in the next NBA draft. He's got the size, he's got the name, he's got the swag about him. How do you guard his moxie is something I'll talk about because he's good and he knows he's good. And he's matched up against really an outstanding point guard on the other side, Kira Lewis, who played all of last year, Boog, as a 17-year-old freshman. Didn't turn 18 until after the season was over. He's a young kid that is going to be matched up today against Cole Anthony. He can defend, he can rebound, doesn't shoot it quite as well, but this is a guy that really pushes the pace for a faster Alabama offense this year.
Yeah, he was the youngest player to appear in a D1 game last year, Kira Lewis Jr. And we are ready to go. Javian Davis will jump it up with Garrison Brooks. Alabama wins the tip. And the Crimson Tide controls. And our starting lineups are brought to you by Atlantis. Kira Lewis, John Petty Jr., Javian Davis, Herbert Jones, and Alex Reese. Lewis a jumper, and that is in and out underneath. Javian Davis the rebound. And Alabama inside, shot short by Herbert Jones. And here comes North Carolina. Leaky Black the jumper. In and out. Rebound underneath, though. And Bacot, they'll go to the possession arrow. And it'll be North Carolina basketball.
Boog, you see Brandon Robinson in the starting lineup coming back from that sprained ankle that he had on November 1st. And they need his three-point shooting. It's a North Carolina team not shooting a 3-ball grade on the season, 32%. And Brandon Robinson, someone that can help fix that problem.
John Petty Jr. with the takeaway, a turnover on North Carolina. And on the baseline, Jones couldn't get it to go. Out of bounds, sloppy early on between the Tar Heels and the Crimson Tide. Roy Williams, what a career he's put together. 17th season in North Carolina, 3 times a national champ. There's Cole Anthony. And Robinson, as Jimmy mentioned, hadn't played this year, getting to start. Anthony lost the handle, out of bounds, and it'll be North Carolina basketball.
Roy Williams replacing 3 first-round guys. Kobe White, Cameron Johnson, Nasir Little, not to mention Luke May, who's just a double-double waiting to happen. And new pieces, new roles, led by a star in Cole Anthony.
Robinson wide open. Got it.
Just what I called for. That's what this Carolina team needs as much as anything. An older big guard that can make shots. Now he's done it in limited time throughout his career. What does he do now as a starting guy playing major minutes? But that first one looked good.
Petty the jumper. Fight for the loose ball. Davis not able to track it down as Javian Davis knocked it out of bounds. The redshirt freshman. There's Nate Oates, who is in his first season taking over Avery Johnson. 4 years as the head coach at Buffalo. What a job he did there. 3 times the last 4 years in the NCAA tournament.
You know, man, that Buffalo team played fast to the tune of 76 offensive possessions per game. And his Alabama team right now is tracking ahead of that, 82 possessions. told us yesterday they might need to tap the brakes just a little to cut down on their turnover issue.
Yeah, they've been turning it over a ton. And obviously with that pace, sometimes the turnovers go hand in hand. Anthony inbounds. North Carolina, the early 3-0 lead. Cole Anthony. And a feed here. Bacot missing.
Oh. Shot from 8 feet and went 12.
Loose ball. And now Anthony. And that one tipped out of bounds. And it is sloppy North Carolina basketball. Roy Williams looking on. Well, Carolina staff right now, they're not sure what they have yet. I mean, I think right now they're okay, but they think they got a chance to be really good.
Well, I think this is a good North Carolina team. It's not a great North Carolina team when you compare to what they have had at times in the past. I'm not sure they can be a great North Carolina team. Could they be good enough to get to the Final Four this year? Absolutely. Absolutely they can. You don't have to be great to win it this year. You have to be good, playing well at the right time, get a break or two, and North Carolina certainly, with this guy right here, is going to be hard to handle over the next 3 months.
Teams combined 1 for 10 from the floor so far. Lob and a missed dunk there from Herbert Jones.
Herb Jones has missed 3 shots in this game from 3 feet away.
And that jumper wouldn't go from Robinson.
Kira Lewis went right around Cole Anthony like he was standing still.
And a travel.
When the original 13 rules of the game, points score when you put the ball through the basket. We might need to break that out at the first TV timeout.
Okay. I like it.
Good tight man-to-man defense by Alabama. What a split of a ball screen. Look out. Yeah. That's just that's just too easy. It's hard to trap Cole Anthony. He is low, he's strong, he's tough, and he is explosive.
Jones down, crossover into the lane. Finger roll is good, and Alabama on the board.
He's now shooting 25% in this game from near the rim. The good news for Herb Jones, he's getting the ball to the rim with ease. We watch Cole Anthony. They come out in hard hedge and jump that ball screen, but they jump and they don't stay tight. They don't stay connected, and Davis jumped out too hard. Cole Anthony read it like a pro point guard would and makes the easy pass out of the dunker spot.
Foul on Herbert Jones, his first, and this is Garrison Brooks at the line. A junior from Lafayette, Alabama. Cole Anthony, all eyes will be on him this year. The son of Greg Anthony, former star at UNLV.
Alabama's had success, Boog, driving the ball, spreading North Carolina out, and driving from that 1, 2, and 3 position.
Petty inside to the corner, and Reese. And Alabama getting after it. Possession arrow, it belongs to the Crimson Tide.
The most active guy in the game so far has been Herb Jones. He's only got 2 points, Boog, but man, that guy's flying in for offensive rebounds out of his area. He's active defensively, driving the ball with power and toughness.
He's a really good defender.
Terrific. And he can guard anything from the 1 through the 4. I've watched it a couple years now through the SEC, and Avery had no problem switching out on a point guard. The next possession down, guarding a power forward.
Galen Smith is checked into the game. Good hands there by Leaky Black. Robinson ends up with it, and it ends up with Cole Anthony.
Carolina deserved to come up with it. They had 2 guys on the floor, and Alabama had none.
And a foul down low. Well, it hasn't been an offensive Mona Lisa here in the early going, but picture perfect here in the Bahamas. ESPN's exclusive. North Carolina a season ago 29-7 for Roy Williams' team, sharing the ACC title, and they were good from deep. The school record in terms of three-pointers, lost in a Sweet 16 to a Final Four team in Auburn, and then three guys depart via the first round of the NBA draft: White, Johnson, and Little. It's a good team last year.
Yeah, it was. They ran into a buzzsaw in Auburn. That Sweet 16 game, Auburn put it on them 97-80. And Roy Williams has adapted to the times of college basketball as well as any head coach out there. And brings in a couple of grad transfers this year, which every coach you talk to says we're saving a scholarship in the spring for those grad transfers that keep popping up.
Tyra Lewis now up ahead.
Bama's their average possession length is just over 14 seconds. They're going to play fast. So if you're Carolina, lock in, man. Lock in for 13, 14 seconds. You've done your job defensively.
And now a foul on Galen Smith.
North Carolina puts so much pressure on you with that middle rim runner every time in transition. It's the first big down that's running right to the rim and dragging people with him. If you're Alabama, the first time you don't run step for step, you're going to give up 2 points.
Justin Pierce, the transfer from William & Mary, is checked into the game. Good shooter, good rebounder. And they get the foul on Brandon Robinson. That is his first.
Yeah, Robinson on the backside of play, trying to set a screen for Cole Anthony. Didn't get set as a screener. Alabama's got to figure out how are they going to score in this game. I've seen Nate telling his guys spread it and drive it. But can they finish when they get there?
Lewis tries. Short with that shot. Anthony on the move. Anthony inside. And they say offensive foul.
And I think that's a great play by Kyra Lewis. Cole Anthony is coming in transition with a full head of steam, and Kyra Lewis gets set, and Cole Anthony kind of went into him and initiated the contact. You officiate the defense. Officials officiate the defense. Watch the defender who initiated the contact. It's a proper call. You officiate from the ground up, and you officiate from the defense to the offense.
Lewis inside off the glass and good. Kyra Lewis, who's averaging a shade under 22 points a game, and a travel there, turnover, Alabama basketball.
A really good turn to the corner by Kyra Lewis. Watch him right here. Just a little bit of a brush screen by John Petty, and he turns the corner off the brush screen, a moving screen, whatever you want to call it. Kyra Lewis gets downhill between the pipes.
Lewis with Anthony on him. Shackelford now. He bears watching. Jaden Shackelford, good-looking player. Push up ahead, and it's a turnover as that passed the outstretched hands of Christian Keeling. Fourth straight turnover on Roy Williams' team.
That's about a 10% chance of being completion look on his face from that pass. About 50 feet away, trying to bounce pass it through three guys.
Shackelford inside, flips it up.
And for a push.
And it'll go on Galen Smith.
And that's a really big call. Galen Smith got on the weak side board. And he's been active on that offensive glass.
So Smith will sit. Javian Davis will check back in. 7-4 here in the early going. John Shambi, Jimmy Dykes. Michigan with a win over Iowa State to begin the battle for Atlantis. Here's Playtech. Feed inside. Good extra pass, and it ends up with Brooks in the dunk.
Yeah, good job by Keeling to cut off of the drive and then to cut off of the cut on the backside of the play. Really good action. How about the 22 turnovers today by Michigan? Other than that, boy, how good were they?
Anthony with the rebound, gets bumped, kicks up ahead. Pierce down. Inside and off the glass and good. Garrison Brooks.
It all started, though, with a big boy defensive board by Cole Anthony. The best point guard defensive rebounder I've seen in a long time in a freshman class. Those kind of things are of great value, Boog, to NBA scouts. When you see this guy go in and fight and battle and rip things down in traffic and initiate that break.
Petty jumper. Got it. Three-pointer for John Petty Jr.
Make him bounce it into a shot. Make John Petty bounce it into every shot if you're North Carolina today.
Pierce started to cut. Anthony almost turned it over. And then that shot blocked there by Kyra Lewis. Shackelford didn't pick his head up. He had a streaking Lewis heading towards the basket. And now Pierce with the step in. And the throwdown. Justin Pierce the dunk.
You're having trouble scoring in your half-court offense if you're Alabama. You cannot turn it over and give up transition points in this game and expect to hang in it.
Justin Pierce, grad transfer from William & Mary. Pull up from John Petty Jr. Book that one.
Well, a really good ball fake. He sold it, Petty did. Got the defender to fly by, and this is the easy step to the side shot by Petty. A good start.
Lewis steps in. Kyra Lewis and the dunk. The steal and the throwdown, and Alabama defense into offense. They're within one.
There's no back down from Kyra Lewis. He knows that he's up against Cole Anthony today for a large part of this game. He's been through the wars as a 17-year-old kid last year in the SEC. He will not go away without a fight.
Anthony feed down low. Brooks couldn't get it to go, and there's Pierce. Play tech, ball fake, feed to Brooks, missed the dunk. Keeling inside, and the putback. Christian Keeling, another of their grad transfers. He comes from Charleston Southern.
Interesting that Charleston Southern, after his freshman year, teams were after Christian Keeling. Power 5 schools came in wanting to, going through different guys, getting in his ear. We want you to come now, and Christian Keeling stayed true to Charleston Southern till he got his degree.
Cole Anthony gets inside. Scoop wouldn't go. Fights for the loose ball and tracks down the rebound and then swings it across to Keeling.
Cole Anthony needs to tap the brakes just a little bit. Maybe trying to do a little too much early in this game. As good as he is, you've got to get others involved if you're going to win tonight, this afternoon, or especially over the next 2 days in Atlantis. But he is the real deal. We'll get to know him after a while. After this break, by matter of fact. Cole, we're basically sitting in the ocean doing an interview. If you were a predator out there, what kind of sea creature would you be?
I have to make myself a great white shark just because I don't think they're going to get eaten by any other animals, and I'm scared of pain.
Okay, you got great game, by the way. You got great hair. I got a hair crush on you. What's this style called?
So I have dreadlocks.
Okay.
Right now I have them in two-strand twists.
Two-strand twist?
Two-strand twist,
Okay.
yes.
How long did it take you to do?
It's a process, probably about 2.5 hours.
Okay. How long would it take you to do my hair like that?
I don't know if I could make that happen.
Cole Anthony. I got a hair crush.
Great white shark indeed.
Yeah, he is. He's the. You know what? It all falls off of this. He loves ball. Everything else he does, it falls off of that right there. And he loves the hard parts of ball. He loves the weightlifting, the conditioning, the line drills. Doesn't take himself out of practice. And his goal and his work habits, where they average out, he will be an elite player in the NBA for a long time.
Keeling swings. Pierce now. Leaky black handles. Anthony on the bench at the moment. Play tech. That's a three. Had a good look at it. And Beetle Bolden tracks it down. Pushes up ahead.
Beetle Bolden, the transfer from West Virginia, playing with that heavily taped left wrist. They've actually had it in a cast the last week. No problem. Take the cast off, let it fly.
Well, that's the number one thing that he does well, is shoot it from deep. And we saw it playing for Bob Huggins in West Virginia. Bacot inside, Pierce the bucket as he had the size mismatch on Bolden.
That's the problem with playing Beetle Bolden. He's so small, just a little light, and Roy Williams initially, bam, right at the mismatch on the block.
Kick to the corner, and Forbes, and the rebound pulled down by the big freshman Armando Bacot. North Carolina ranked 6th in the country. They're taking on an Alabama team that went 18-16 last year. Roy Williams, his team here in Atlanta. Of course, he's a former coach at Kansas, and Kansas in the championship game of the Maui Jim Maui Invitational. And that'll come your way at 5 Eastern. And then Virginia Tech will take on BYU in the third place game at 11:30 Eastern on ESPN2.
Luka's going to be interesting how much Bill Self can play McCormick and Azubuike together in that game. Offensively, will have the advantage. They went for like 27 and 15 last night combined, but can they cover Dayton when Obi Toppin is a 6'9" guy that's making threes on it?
Well, Bill Self loves playing the two bigs. We'll see how much that can work with those two guys on the court. Shot clock winding down. Bacot with the ball on the floor, out of bounds. It belongs to Alabama. 9:05 to go here, first half. And a close one here in the early going, 2-point game.
Bacot trying to make a play in a crowd, and he's got to get a better feel of when to put the ball on the floor and when not to as a post-up player. Seems like he's getting better every time you put the game film on. A young kid, he and Cole Anthony played a lot of ball together going back to their 6th, 7th grade year.
And that one from the corner, Reese rebounded, put back as Alex Reese came flying in for the rebound and put it in.
Just no check out whatsoever by North Carolina, and Roy Williams going to make a substitution because of it.
Keeling couldn't hit. Bacot was trying to jump over the back, and now it's Jaden Shackelford. Reese hoists it up, and that one way off. Now Keeling up ahead. And inside, it's Garrison Brooks with the bucket, and the junior off to a fast start. Brooks with 10 points. Petty ball fake, goes at the rim. And now the pass, Shackelford. And the freshman can't hit. Bacot ends up with it.
Shackelford has a lot of twist of his body in his jump shot. I'm not so sure how consistent he can be with that type of form going forward.
And Robinson gets inside. There'll be no basket. He'll shoot 2.
The speed of North Carolina, it is relentless, and it doesn't matter who's bringing it. If you don't run with them, they will run it right up your backside. Cole Anthony, I love his hair. He loves what he's seeing.
Hi,
He was hesitant coming out of the blocks. Now, like I said, I beat his butt down the challenger slide. He's not going to let anybody forget about it. But, hey, it's a first one to the bottom is all that counts.
Yeah.
And he came up fighting mad, and that's just part of it. Welcome to the island.
Kevin Brown, Chris Spatola will have the call of our games later on. Gonzaga Southern Miss and Oregon Seton Hall. That'll be really good.
That has all the makings of winner goes to the Final Four written it all over it type feel. Those two teams are the real deal. The most physical, imposing team that we've seen in Atlantis after practice yesterday is Seton Hall. Miles Powell is a bucket-getting dude, and he's surrounded by a bunch of them. Watch out for the Pirates in Atlantis. As well you would expect, right?
Set up. Michigan awaiting a winner of this one, and 2 more games still to come. John Chambee, Jimmy Dykes here from the Atlantis Resort. Bad Boy Mowers battle for Atlantis. Petty the jumper, and that's a little short. Leaky Black with the rebound. North Carolina into the front court, leading by 5. And they put it in the hands of Anthony. Nice look. Pierce inside. Had it rejected.
Moved to pass, though, by Cole Anthony. He's one of those point guards. As the ball's coming to him, he already knows exactly where the ball's going to go once it gets in his paws.
Petty to the corner.
Watch Cole Anthony. I said he's a triple-double threat every time he's on the floor. He knew before the ball was coming to him exactly where it needed to go next. He thinks the game at such a high level. Kind of a bigger, more physical Kemba Walker type guy to me right now at this stage. We know what Kemba's done in that league. 38% three-point shooter, shooting from deep in transition, just always putting pressure on you, really on both ends of the floor.
Petty wide open and buries that one.
And anytime you say Petty wide open, that's a problem for North Carolina.
His third three.
That's what he can do, Boog. He didn't shoot the ball well the first 2 games for Alabama, but you know, go back and watch his tapes in the past, that is a real shooter.
Platek with the jumper, and North Carolina back up to a 4-point advantage.
That's beautiful. That is outstanding play by Kira Lewis. In the middle part of the floor, the help is taken away, the little hesitation and the shift of gears. His change of pace was as good as we've seen so far today.
Anthony, jumper, and that'll go. Cole Anthony, who had 34 in his debut against Notre Dame.
Think about that.
34 and 11.
Yeah, North Carolina freshman scoring record in a debut game. It wasn't Michael Jordan, James Worthy, Sam Perkins, Tyler Hansbrough, Phil Ford, keep on going for 30 minutes. It was Cole Anthony who set that record.
They get the foul on Leaky Black as he fouled Herbert Jones. Anthony, the #2 recruit in the country behind James Wiseman of Memphis, and expected to be a top 3 pick in the draft.
I think he's right there in the conversation for it. You know, Wiseman and Cole Anthony and Anthony Edwards from Georgia. How good was he? Wow, yesterday in Maui, 33 points in the second half.
Inside left hand wouldn't go from Jones.
I think that's 5 shots now Herbert Jones has missed 3 feet and in this game.
Anthony, step back 3 off the mark. And Platek able to track it down. Puts it on the floor, feed inside, and that'll go for Garrison Brooks.
Terrific hustle by Platek, because he had a good box off that he did not accept. He didn't accept the box off, Platek, and now on this end, Anthony fights over the screen. Watch Platek, right? He gets boxed off, but he doesn't accept it right there. He's boxed off, he doesn't accept it, he fights through it. And a pocket pass for a rim run right for Garrison Brooks. That was a terrific hustle play by Andrew Platek.
Garrison Brooks with a dozen to lead all scorers. That last foul was on Galen Smith, and that is his 3rd, and he'll grab a seat for Alabama. 5:05 to go. North Carolina with the ball up by 6. The winner will take on Michigan in one semifinal. Anthony had it knocked out of his hands, and a foul called on the Crimson Tide.
He drew the foul, Cole Anthony did, Boog, because he makes violent cuts off the ball. And violent cuts are scoring cuts or cuts that result in getting fouled. Normal cuts do neither one. And Cole Anthony, as a young kid, understands the value of making violent cuts as an off-ball offensive player.
And that one tipped out nicely by the freshman Armando Bacot. Anthony, and one! Count it. Good body control and absorbed the contact.
And he's got the same physical toughness of a former North Carolina point guard, Raymond Felton, who made play after play after play through contact as a Tar Heel. And it's a good job of just a little bit of a ball fake to get the defender up and then takes the hit. And I spent time with him yesterday. He's a heck of a looking athlete. Strong, tough, sturdy. And I keep saying it. He knows he's good, and there's nothing wrong with that.
A little strong on that one. Black pulls down the rebound. Platek off the glass, wouldn't go, tipped out. And they get the foul on Bacot. North Carolina leading by 8. Jimmy Dykes, just off the top of your head, who are some of the freshman guards in recent memory that have stood out to you? Guys that I mean, right away. Like a guy who's another one. I mean, Cole Anthony played not just at Oak Hill, but also Archbishop Lloyd. Kenny Anderson back in the day was a freshman guard who impacted the game. Bobby Hurley certainly as well.
The first practice I saw of John Wall at Kentucky, it was no, without question how good he was going to be. Same thing with Derrick Rose. I was at his first practice at Memphis with Calipari when Derrick Rose came out of the locker room. They just look different when they walk on the floor. They look different when the game begins.
Offensive foul. It'll go back the other way. That on Armando Bacot.
Now, Alabama, they're not afraid to play now at this pace. They came in averaging right at 14.4 seconds per possession. And that's right up North Carolina's alley. And if you are North Carolina defensively, just sit down and guard your butt off for 15 seconds. You've done your job. This is a very quick trigger team that you're up against. There you
Jones
go.
off the glass and good.
I applaud for a guy like that refuses to get discouraged of missing those shots around the rim and keeps fighting.
Well, tight one here in the Bahamas. North Carolina leading by 3. Who will play Michigan? We'll wait and find out. Let's go back to the studio. And here's Kevin Connors.
All right, Boo, coming up on the G.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Lowe's. Hurry in for Black Friday deals. Do it right for less. Start with Lowe's. And Atlantis Paradise Island. Bahamas at heart. I need some time on the Rapids. Is that Spatola?
Yes, again. Is he going to get out there in time to come watch Seton Hall in Oregon tonight? How good was this guy as a college player? Greg Anthony, national champion at UNLV, long time in the NBA. He has shared his wealth with his son in terms of how to be a lead guard and what they're supposed to look like going forward.
And Cole, yeah, he traveled.
At times he over dribbles, and he'll learn from high school. Just get good on back, Cole. It's okay. You can get called for a walk sometimes. Get on to the next play.
Wasn't Dad number 50? How come?
I think he was. I think he was one of the first guys to. Yeah, and that's the tattoo that Cole has. You know, from high school to college, one of the biggest adjustments, Boog, is what you did off of 3 bounces. You now have to do off of 2. Or what you did off of 2 bounces, you have to do off of 1. And that's probably the next growth stage for Cole Anthony. At times he can pound it just a little too much.
Petty now 4-7 from 3, and he has single-handedly kept Alabama in this game. I went way off from Reese. Anthony.
Who helps Cole Anthony score? He's averaging big numbers coming in, 23 a game, and then you drop down the next guy and Garrison Brooks at 12. And that's a concern for Roy Williams going forward. You have to have some balance in your offense, as good as this guy is. Think about this. The first 2 games, Cole Anthony shot the ball 48 times. That's the most ever under a player for Roy Williams at North Carolina in back-to-back games.
North Carolina by 3. We close in on the 3-minute mark. Cole Anthony's been pretty quiet, just 4 points. Petty hasn't been quiet. It's another. That's his 5th 3-pointer.
Alabama's just running 5 out, opening the floor, drive, kick, knock down 3s, keeping all kinds of pressure on North Carolina to cover them on the perimeter.
Brooks inside. Shot wouldn't go. Tip. And it's Alabama basketball and a chance for the Crimson Tide to take the lead. Inside shot was contested. And Carolina the other way, tied at 30.
You know what I love about Herb Jones? A missed shot does nothing to what he does on the other end of the floor.
And there's Brandon Robinson. He missed their first 4 games with that sprained ankle. And back playing for the first time. Started here today.
Yeah, you heard Seth talk about it going into the last break. The value of Brandon Robinson as a shooter for this team. I mean, he did it in limited role, limited minutes in the past, but now he's an important guy.
And they're a passer.
Yeah, he ran the wing hard with a throw ahead from Cole Anthony. And again, the first big down the floor is going to pound you at the rim if you don't run with him. That time, it was Garrison Brooks.
Brooks with 14 to lead North Carolina. Jones lost the handle. It's a turnover. Anthony jumper. And Reese with the rebound and then gives it off to Jones, and now Kira Lewis into the front court.
If I'm Nate Oates for Alabama, you're in the ball game with 1:30 to go against the number 6 team in the country. Make sure you don't do a crazy last 90 seconds right now. That's a good hard drive. They're just opening up the floor up, Boog. All 5 guys, including, is he okay, Alex Reese? All 5 guys can shoot that ball. So now you've got drive, gap opportunities, and a hard fall at the end of the play by Alex Reese. That is the fall on that right hip area. Cole Anthony just a half step late getting there inside the restricted arc.
Alex Reese, the junior from Pelham, Alabama.
Not sure he's okay to shoot the free throw or not. I think that's the discussion. Cole Anthony's left foot was on the restricted arc even if he was there set. And this is the situation that Roy Williams now gets to choose who the shooter he puts on the line, and it's going to be Herbert Jones. A quick look at the stat sheet tells you why. Herb Jones just struggles shooting the ball. 75% on the year from the free throw line, but
only 8 attempts though so far. And a good choice, at least so far. Alex Reese, it looked like he was pointing at his shoulder. And Jones with Reese on the bench, and they'll go look at him in the locker room. Alabama down 5, make it 4. And Jaden Shackelford will check in.
I'm a big Herbert Jones fan. He's missed shots in this game around the rim, but it takes courage to not get discouraged. You cannot discourage Herbert Jones in all the other areas of the game when the ball's not going in for him. Love him as a player.
Pierce, bounce pass and shoved down to the floor is Garrison Brooks. And there's Reese back to the locker room. And that last foul on Kira Lewis Jr., his first.
Well, if you're Alabama, that potentially is a big loss because he is what allowed Alabama to spread the floor offensively, because now all 5 guys are a threat to shoot it. The game has changed with the injury because now Javian Davis is on the floor for Alabama. They can't go to the 5 out, and those drive opportunities will have a built-in help defender helping off of Davis.
Alabama, by the way, if we were just going first names, it is a play-by-play guy's nightmare. They have a Javian, a Jaden, and a Jalen. So, like, if you were doing a game on radio for Alabama radio, it'd be Javian has it over to Jaden to Jalen on the right side. You're killing me.
You have handled it, though, with perfection.
And the analyst just says, uh-huh.
Yeah.
Hands in on a minute to go. 6-point game. John Shambi and Jimmy Dykes here in the Bahamas. Holden from D.
Handle the last minute if you're Alabama. You're down 6. Handle this last minute. Stay in the game. Hope that Alex Reese is okay, and you're going to be in this thing for the long haul. This kid can do everything but shoot it great. Talking about Leaky Black.
Jumper from Keeling. That wouldn't go. Pierce rebound. Pierce. And it ends up with Kira Lewis. Lewis pushing ahead. Lewis kickback. Shackelford, it wouldn't go. And then a steal right back.
One shot, Boog. One shot. You dodged the bullet. You took a quick 3. Now, at worst, if you're Alabama, go in down 6. Take it with enough time for somebody to fly in from the perimeter on offensive rebound. Keep the ball in Kira Lewis's hands. Let him make the right play. And he did not. He absolutely did not. Very difficult move to take it from 40 feet out on the floor all the way to the rim without a help defender sliding in.
Not to mention that with a miss, with that much time left, they're going to get the ball back.
Yeah, I just said don't mess up the last minute. Don't mess up the last 24 seconds. And Alabama has found a way to do both. Plenty of time for North Carolina to get off not only a good shot, but an offensive rebound opportunity.
And worth noting, Kira Lewis Jr., arguably their best player, now with 3 fouls.
That was a bad play by Kira Lewis.
Pierce Hoyce.
Told you.
Tip wouldn't go, almost, for Christian Keeling flying in. And at the break, North Carolina, number 6 team in the country, leading it 37-31. After the break, we'll be back. Kevin Connors, Seth Greenberg, and Sean Farnham in the studio for our halftime report. Check out our bracket. Yeah, Michigan already with a win. I have an earring on right now.
You have an earring on. What are you doing?
Well, I'm a little bit of a mess. Here's what happened. This got stuck. My credential got stuck. John Shambi, Jimmy Dykes, courtside.
This is your
first half.
By the way.
By the way, first half a little sloppy, a little ugly, but ultimately Alabama had an opportunity. Down 6 with 20 seconds to go, and Kira Lewis didn't make a great choice.
He's their best player, and he tries to drive the ball from 40 feet out, and it's not going to happen. He didn't play off 2 feet. And that's why coaches talk about it all the time. Play off 2 feet. Had he played off 2 feet, he could have stopped and gone straight up. Maybe had a drop-off pass. He plays off of 1 foot, picks up a charge. He's averaging 21 points a game. He's averaging 38 minutes a game. And now that third foul is going to saddle him for the second half. Can he play through it? I tell you this, they're a completely different team without Kira Lewis on the floor.
Davis. Lewis back to Davis. And our first half stats are presented by Atlantis. Tar Heels rebounding margin has been really kind of a signature for Williams teams. It continues this year. It continues today.
Yeah, they come in averaging plus 20 boards, and they're tracking that number right now. How about the half by Garrison Brooks? So efficient. I think his career high is 20. It's the most points he's ever scored as a Tar Heel in a half. And now that's Alabama. They don't have that low post bruiser to match up with good low post rim scores, and Garrison Brooks taking advantage of it.
And Davis gets that one.
The pass that Kira Lewis made to open the half was the pass that he should have made to close the first half.
What do you want to see Cole Anthony to do here in the second half?
Well, he has to stay aggressive, because right now, other than Robinson can make a 3, Garrison Brooks is having a nice game. He has to stay aggressive, but also keep moving the ball, which he's done. You watch all 4 films that they've played. He understands how to do it. I expect him to stay right with who he is.
Loose ball, and it ends up with Brandon Robinson, and now Cole Anthony. And Baycott had it go off his hands and out of bounds.
Alabama's been feisty defensively, quick reacting. They're fighting hard. It's not an effort thing right now. They're only down 5 against the number 6 team in the country. We've seen upsets all season long. Stephen F. Austin took it to Duke last night by spreading them out, driving the ball, made 36 twos. No cowards on the bus. That's what Kyle Keller told his guys, and did they deliver?
Nice move there by the redshirt freshman, Javian Davis. Anthony. And they didn't call the walk, they called an offensive foul.
I did not see the foul.
Agreed.
I saw the walk. Mike Reed saw it differently. Cole Anthony coming down the left pipe. Yeah, he got it. Got him with a push-off. That's a very good call. You agree?
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to call it. A slice, cut, and petty over the top of that. Getting him isolated for a drive. Fill the corner. Good ball movement. Very well done. What was that?
And Nate Oates pleading his case to Tony Padilla.
I've never seen Kira Lewis shoot the ball over the backboard. And maybe that's what happened. Yeah, and now I have. Now I have seen Kira Lewis shoot it over the backboard. But we said it in the first half. This is not a great North Carolina team by any stretch of the imagination. Great North Carolina teams have older guys. Now, those 3 national titles by Roy Williams, he started 2 seniors and 3 juniors in that national title game. That's not how this team is made. You talk about Ty Lawson, Wayne Ellington, Tyler Hansbrough, Sean May, Raymond Felton. Not those kind of dudes out there other than this one right here with the ball.
It'll be North Carolina basketball. Carolina up by 3. Alabama has never led in this one. Anthony is fouled. And Cole Anthony goes down hard. It'll be on Alex Reese. And that's his first. We're going to check to see if it's 2 or 3 free throws.
Can I tell you guys that I would pay to watch play this year while we're looking at this? That's not going to tell us much there. Right. He's behind the 3 at that point. That's a 3, right?
That's a 3.
Yeah, that's a 3. I would pay to see this kid, Cole Anthony.
Yeah.
Would you not?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Miles Powell, he's here. I'd pay to see him too. I'd pay to see James Wiseman from Memphis in person. Marcus Howard. You know who else I would pay? I would pay to see Udoka Azubuike. Just because you don't realize how big that dude is until you see him in person and how he can really just control and dominate the game at the rim. I'm not sure they can do it tonight against Dayton because Obi Toppin's going to drag everybody away from the rim. If not, he's liable to go for 40. Those 4 or 5 guys right there, I would pay to go see. Luckily, 2 of them are here, and I don't have to as long as I don't lose my credential.
I get an extra one in my pocket.
Trying to get that earring off?
Yeah. But he misses the second. I keep asking this out loud, and we need to find the answer. And you take a guess for me.
Okay.
What percentage of the time that a player gets 3, and it goes back to what Kyle Guy did in that huge moment, what percentage of the time that a kid gets 3 at the line do you think he makes all 3? What'd you guess? 50%?
Yeah, I was going to say 60, maybe 60.
I don't think 60.
You don't think it's 60?
I don't think they make all 3.
You asked me to guess, so I guessed.
All right, I'm not yelling at you. Just don't whistle at me.
You are.
Okay.
Yeah.
Jimmy Dykes from the Bahamas.
It's not 70 or 80. We do know that.
Yeah,
you're right. It's not 70 or 80. When are you and I going to do the slide challenge? I've already whipped Spatola's butt. When are you and I going to go down that thing?
My concern in terms of the slide challenge is not that I will beat you. It's that I'll beat you so badly, and I will finish by being catapulted into the arena. I will go so far. You know what I'm saying? Like that I will go off that thing and just keep going.
Oh,
I think that'll be a problem. That's my worry.
You take the GoPro because I want to see the footage of that. There's my guy, Leaky Black.
Leaky Black, the jumper there.
He touches the game in so many ways. Theo Pinson is a great comparison. He's a better defender than Theo Pinson ever was. He can just make shots. Look at this guy right there.
Active hands, and there's Baycott able to track it down. Baycott the stuff, and the freshman with the dunk. Timeout Alabama, just like that. A 6-0 run, and it's a 9-point North Carolina lead. Right. North Carolina and Alabama squaring off, and take a look here. Baycott able to track things down, and the stuff. Baycott.
Oh, graphic, please. Just anything.
Armando Baycott and North Carolina leading this game by 9. And you look at top 100 recruits. They got number 2, number 18, and then Anthony Harris, who has been out due to a knee injury.
Here's my question on Bacot. Can the 18-minute-a-game Bacot become a 26, 27-minute-a-game Bacot with productivity? He's made a lot of progress in his conditioning over the last 12 months, but that has to continue. Because there are times on film, this big cat will get out and pressure and deny and run through passes, but the energy has to be there for every minute that he's on the floor. If that continues to go up step by step, then North Carolina becomes a better team by the time March rolls around.
Petty steps in and they kicked it out of bounds. North Carolina ball. John Petty with 5 3-pointers in this game. They've only got 6. The only other guy to hit a 3 is Beetle Bolden.
Well, can they shake Petty loose in the second half and make him do anything putting the ball on the floor? If you've done that as a defender against Petty, you've done your job. But you cannot let Petty, if you're Roy Williams and North Carolina, shoot Alabama back in this game in any catch and shoot situation.
Almost stolen by Jones. Anthony, and they get the foul on Herbert Jones, and Nate Oates a little frustrated right now.
Well, this is the Herb Jones effort that you're up against. Ball comes loose and Herb Jones just dives for it, and unfortunately when he dove, he got the right leg of Cole Anthony. You have to protect guys in loose ball situations.
One of the subtleties in that spot, though, is that, to me, the foul happened prior to that.
Prior to the dive?
Yeah, he bumped him to knock him down. They didn't call it, and then he dove, and that I felt like more borderline.
It was.
Robinson. And underneath, and the foul on Bacot. North Carolina, 15:52 to go, second half, and they lead by 9. Housing, and obviously something that did not impact Nassau and Paradise Island the way it did those islands, but the entire Bahamas was impacted emotionally, psychologically, and obviously in so many other ways.
Yeah, Boogas, it was devastating to sit at home and watch that storm just literally sit there for a 24-hour period and just wreak havoc on people's lives that will never recover from the hurt, the pain, the loss that they've experienced. And quickly puts basketball in its proper perspective when you see those pictures and hear the stories and kids being relocated without their parents. Just tragic, tragic losses.
Kyron Lewis Jr. with that easy basket, and Alabama within 9. Anthony buries a 2.
Well, he can make hard shots, so you don't want to foul his hard shots. You know, he's shooting 38-39% from the floor. And if you're Alabama, you've done a good job of guarding him, pretty much containing him today, and not bailing him out with fouls.
Loose ball, and knocking it away is Leaky Black, and now Cole Anthony.
What a pass
right there. Brooks wouldn't go, and a foul on James Beetle Bolden.
Well, those are the passes that are really special and separate the good from the great with the offhand, and Brooks cutting away from the pocket. Most pocket passes, the guys are running with you. Garrison Brooks was running away from the pocket pass, and Cole Anthony had the feel and the skill to deliver it belt high.
Did they just change that to an offensive foul?
I believe they did.
And Roy Williams can't believe it.
Well, Cole Anthony has 8 points in this game. He comes in averaging, what, 23, somewhere in there? So those 9 points by Brandon Robinson are huge in that Tar Heel lineup right now.
Bolden gets inside, and that one rejected. And now Leaky Black up ahead. Right hand scoops it in. Shackelford. And Black pulls it down, and North Carolina looking to add on to a 13-point advantage. Anthony jumper. That wouldn't go. Black, the putback is good. And that quickly, the lead is 15 for North Carolina. Kyra Lewis now. Bolden jumper. Rebound Anthony. And Black. And they called offensive foul.
Wow, that's a tough call. Nikki Black was so good 2 possessions ago in transition. Long and fast with the ball, but watch his shoulder right there into the defender. Again, officials are taught, officiate the defense, so they get their eyes on the defender and watch the action from there. The defender has the right to establish guarding position and continue to move. It's the right call.
Yeah. You're wondering, his full name is Rayshawn Malik Black. His grandmother gave him that nickname.
Well, he's a heck of a talent and touches the game in so many areas. They just need a little more offense out of Leaky Black. The transition play before the one he got called for the charge was beautiful basketball. Watch Leaky Black. In the middle of the floor with his left hand, a long, big stride from about 18 feet away. One bounce and a finish. That's beautiful.
Shackelford, good job. Able to save that one. And now it's Kyra Lewis handling.
Really good over-under ball screen coverage by North Carolina, and a good job by Kyra Lewis to fight through it and get it to the far side of the floor.
Big three for Alex Reese.
Over-under ball screen coverage means if I'm guarding the ball, I'm going to go over the defender and under my guy who stepped out to hard hedge. Over-under ball screen coverage.
Rebound pulled down by Javian Davis, and now Kyra Lewis. Feed inside. Oh, point blank for Javian Davis, and he can't hit.
Can't miss him. Cannot miss him. When you're down against North Carolina, it's hard enough to get it to the rim. You better finish when you have the opportunity. Bam.
And a three is good for Cole Anthony.
Now, he really hasn't forced a lot today, maybe 3 or 4 plays. He's let the game come to him because Alabama has made him work. But he always has the ability at any point in time to jump up and stick one.
Well, he played off of Kyra Lewis in that spot, and Kyra made him pay.
You take him out if you're Roy Williams? I don't. I'll answer my own question.
Yeah.
You tell him don't let that happen anymore, and keep number 2 in white on the floor.
Well, Brandon Robinson, a young man who did a lot to help the cause here in the Bahamas. We'll tell you about it when we come back.
What is it?
Visited the Bahamas Children's Emergency Hospital on Nassau Island. Robinson collected 1,267 pounds of supplies to take to the hospital for a class project to supply hurricane relief in the Bahamas. In addition to the supplies, Carolina gear was passed out to the 51 children between the ages of 1 to 11. Pretty cool stuff and great work by Brandon Robinson, the senior from Georgia, and helping to make a difference here in the Bahamas.
But when you have a heart for others, I mean, that translates to the next level no matter what he's going to do in life. You know what I'm saying? That's a guy that's in college, and so many college kids are consumed about social media and figuring out who they are by what other people say. And there you see a guy like Brandon Robinson just on his own initiative with a heart for others to say, I'm getting my eyes off myself and on what's going on around me in the real world.
Yeah.
And I just salute guys like that think and feel and respond to others' needs like Brandon Robinson has.
Yeah, we're all in it together.
Absolutely.
Kind of the way he's setting that tone. Here's Justin Pierce now, play tag. Back to Pierce, who tries a three, and that one's short.
He knew it when he shot it.
Yeah, he did. He was scrambling after it.
He was sprinting before it's off of his fingertips.
Well, speaking of the Bahamas, Nathan Bain with the game-winning layup. And he's from Freeport. His family affected by the hurricane. And he had the winner for Stephen F. Austin. And they go into Cameron Indoor Stadium and upset the #1 team in the country on the road. I mean, we've had it happen twice already in terms of non-Power 5 conference teams going on the road to beat the #1 team in the land, as Kentucky lost to Evansville.
Yep.
And now Duke to Stephen F. Austin.
And we're getting ready to have our 4th #1 team of the season, which tells us those initial polls are an absolute guess anyways. But if you've ever been to a Kyle Keller practice, the head coach at Stephen F. Austin, you were not shocked at all as I watched that game last night with what was going down, because they have a pack dog mentality, fight you at all points of the floor. Those dudes play hard now, Stephen F. Austin, and Duke got it handed to him.
Out of bounds, and it'll be Alabama basketball. And again, we've seen it play in. We saw it in the Michigan-Iowa State game where the floor gets a little slick. It happened there with Pierce. And Roy Williams, his team up a dozen.
To the point in the first game, Juwan Howard had enough and said, give me the dadgum towel myself.
Yep.
Looking at Roy Williams, and made sure that he got it up.
Dadgummit.
Spread him, drive him. Kyra Lewis is the one guy that can create closeouts for others. Shackelford just takes it one-on-one. You talk about a kid that can score the basketball in high school. He averaged 45 points in high school last year. He averaged 45 points.
Inside Reese, the rejection. Jaden Shackelford from Hesperia, California, which is Northern California.
It is, I believe. Kyra Lewis has played the entire second half without picking up that 4th foul. So they're in pretty good shape right now with a guy that can, again, he can create closeouts for others and get good shots. And he's the only one that can do it.
Leaky Black will try and hit a 3. They need more of that from him.
Yeah, they do. The whole team needs to shoot the ball better from 3. Doesn't take a lot. Comes in, made 2 out of 5 on the year, but that looked really pure coming off of his hand.
Shackelford can't answer. Black.
Careful, careful. I got ran over by an Alabama player about 8 years ago.
Is that right?
Yeah, the same type of play. Got ran smooth over, knocked me over backwards, hit my head. I came up fine. But I'm telling you, anytime I see an Alabama jersey, I reflect back to that night.
You came out fine?
Yeah, well, the next game I did against Alabama, I wore a chest protector and a catcher's mask. But other than that, I was fine.
I liked it. I think he was coming for me.
That's on you if you've done something to disturb him. Power to Armando, go to work. Don't foul. You got a double team coming, Javion Davis. The double team's coming. Don't foul in a double team.
Carolina by 13, 9:41 to go. Winner of this one will take on Michigan. We have 2 more to come, as it will be Gonzaga and Southern Miss, and Seton Hall and Oregon. And Kevin Brown and Chris Spatola will be on the call. And those 2 are probably
toweling off.
Yeah.
Finally, get him out of the lazy river. Myles Powell has put himself in the front slot, I think, for National Player of the Year. It's way, way early, but he is going to be in the conversation all year long, the guard from Seton Hall.
And Baycott gets bumped. They get the foul on Reese.
You know, Roy Williams is pounding that right block right now. And he knows that Alabama is not built to withhold or withstand body blow after body blow after body blow around the rim. And with a 13-point lead under 10 to go, guys won a lot of games by knowing how to close people out.
Last foul on Galen Smith. That's his 4th. So he'll grab a seat.
Got him pinned. Bad pass.
Collecting it was Keeling. Baycott puts it up and in. Off balance, and the freshman able to get it done.
Pretty good feet.
Lewis flips that one off the rim, the glass, and in.
But putting it right back, a good awareness by Kira Lewis. Your transition defense against Carolina has to be a little different, Boog. You can't run with your head not finding the ball quicker than normal. Most teams will sprint to the timeline and then turn their head to find the ball. Against North Carolina, your first 3 steps, you better be sprinting, but also finding the ball because it's coming on you so quickly.
I think they waved off the basket. So no bucket for Baycott. It'll be North Carolina basketball out of bounds, and the foul. John Petty Jr. his first.
Dayton beat the brakes off of Virginia Tech last night, didn't they?
They did.
I mean, that was a clinic, and 24 hours before that, we were talking about the clinic that Virginia Tech put on against Michigan State. Obi Toppin, we were here last year and watched, and the pro scouts that I talked to a year ago said that kid from Dayton has a chance to be something special, and we saw it yesterday in Maui, and we may very well see it again later on in that championship game against Kansas.
Carolina by 13 tonight on ESPN. Catch an NBA doubleheader. First 7 Eastern. It's the Nets and the Celtics, and then at 9:30 the Lakers and the Pelicans. AD's return to New Orleans. NBA Wednesday, 7, 9:30 Eastern on ESPN and the ESPN app. Loose ball. Reese comes up with it. Oh,
Thank you, Trout.
might have walked there.
Beetle Bolden needs to slow down, man. He's not sure where he's going, but he's getting there in a hurry. The last 2 or 3 minutes of this game. And that's not good.
Javian Davis back in. Reese will sit. James Bolden, who started his career at West Virginia. Grad transfer. And again, we're just seeing it more and more. I think in today's game, it's rare to see an elite team not have a grad transfer impacting their team.
Absolutely it is. And we talked about it. Coaches now are saving that scholarship for what goes on in the summer. Guys, they get the word out and don't think for a second that they are not actively being recruited off those mid-major campuses at all times. One of the most frustrating things right now in college ball for those mid-major coaches. Good cut, huh?
Lewis gets inside, and Kira Lewis Jr. with the deuce, and he's got 15.
North Carolina just, they can't put Alabama away. You just wonder if Bama has enough offense, though, to really fight their way back in this game with now 8 to go. No Cole Anthony, so the ball's going to move quicker. The ball's going to move harder. Very good ball movement. It's a little ball dominated, as it should be when Cole Anthony's on the floor. When he's off the floor, the ball gets a little hotter, a little crisper, and North Carolina with nice slice cuts to get one at the rim.
13-point advantage. Davis down low.
Push.
And then a foul inside to get the foul. Justin Pierce. North Carolina, number 6 team in the country, and they lead this one by 13 here in.
Cole Anthony came in averaging 23 points a ball game. He's really been well defended, I think, by Alabama's pressure. Their guards have done a good job of switching out on him, making him work. But at the end of the day, he's 4 out of 8. He's got 6 defensive rebounds. He got 11 points. He has the ability to make hard shots and create hard shots. You don't want to foul him and put him on the free throw stripe where he's 2 out of 5 today, but hasn't been his best day. But again, Alabama's had something to do with it, but he impacts winning at the end of the day. I think that's what this kid does. He does what the game calls for him to do. As he continues to grow and get a little bit more efficient or wiser with the use of his number of dribbles that he has to use to go places, watch out.
I mean, didn't put up a ton of shots, at least.
No, he has not.
So far today, 8, right? Yeah, 4 of 8.
Came in averaging right at 20 shots per game.
Black weaving through traffic, puts it up. Rebound by Baycott. The freshman puts it in.
Good job to drive the seal of Armando Baycott. I'm pretty sure it's Baycott on the far block that had his guy sealed off, and Leaky Black just drove the seal. And we're not talking Sea Lions.
Lewis jumper short. Rebound pulled down by Davis.
Good hands.
Reverses it and puts it in.
Pretty good hands, right? Traffic rebound by Davis, and he got it on one side of the rim, finished it the other. Move the ball, use clock, stay aggressive. Another slip on the floor. This is looking like a continuing problem on this floor today.
Well, it was certainly a problem in the first game.
Yeah. I don't remember it ever being a problem last year.
No. So Cole Anthony goes down.
I'm not sure any team has helped their cause during Feast Week any more than the Florida Gators. Look at Alabama in the SEC right now, and you think, who's the team to beat? I think Auburn's probably playing better than anyone else in that league right now. Tennessee's they're going to be a handful as well. Rick Barnes can flat out coach. Kentucky's inconsistent still, just too young. Florida struggled, but how they handled starting out 2-2 and to go win 3 in a row and to beat a very physical, tough Xavier team. Mike White's guys really answered the bell during Feast Week.
Good hands by Davis. Kick up ahead, Lewis. Petty now, back to Lewis, bucket.
That was really well done to get that ball moving side to side in the transitions, speed push. And just hanging in the game is Alabama. Kind of like our first game. Can they get back-to-back stops and followed up with back-to-back makes? That's where they're at with 6 to go.
Stay 10 on the shot clock.
Stay tight right now. Stay bunched up and stay tight. Protect the elbows.
Jumper off the rim. Baycott and foul on the floor. And I believe they got Herbert Jones with the foul. And that may be his 5th.
That's a big play. But I'm telling you that this Baycott kid now, he's a good athlete. He moves his feet really well. There's not a lot of 6'10" guys that could have gotten to that loose ball chase when you're involved with a quicker, shorter athlete like Herb Jones. What are you thinking?
Just my one editorial comment. I don't like that a foul out turns into a timeout. Let's go.
Like it just did? Yeah, you got 20 seconds to sub a guy in, get him going. That's on the officials.
So Jones will sit.
You never question the effort of Herbert Jones. Not one time.
No.
Have I watched him play and you walk away thinking Herbert Jones didn't play hard? And see that cut above the right eye that happened in the game, and he just continues to battle. He can get knocked down, and you can whip his tail, and he comes right back the next day. He can get his tail whipped for a full week. He'll come back the next week for a full month. It doesn't matter. He's not phased.
And that's an NBA body.
Yes, it is. Yes, he does a lot of NBA stuff, other than finding a way to get the ball to go down. That's the issue with Herbert Jones.
Baycott 10 points all in the second half, and they just do get it in. Carolina by 10. Reese puts it on the floor. And a rebound pulled down by Garrison Brooks. Davis steps in. Shackelford back tapped out of bounds. It'll stay with Alabama.
Good active circle the post defense by Davis, because he could initially just given up and leaned on the back of Baycott, but he kept circling the play, and fought himself into a good touch.
Michigan a winner earlier today as they beat Iowa State. And Juwan Howard's team off to a good start. Still to come, Gonzaga, Southern Miss, and as well Seton Hall and Oregon. 4 ranked teams down here at the Bad Boy Mowers Battle for Atlantis. Quarterfinal number 2, John Shambi and Jimmy Dykes. 2 more still to come. Kevin Brown and Chris Spatola getting warmed up and ready to take over.
I think it's worth noting again, the last 2 national champions we've had, they won the Battle for Atlantis that same year. Villanova and Virginia, and the same thing could happen this year. This is a loaded field with 3 or 4, possibly 5 legitimate Final Four type teams here on the island.
Petty jumper wouldn't go. Bacot pulls it down.
Alabama, defensively, they've given themselves a chance, but they just can't score. They just struggle scoring.
Robinson jumper. That's off the mark. Inside, it's Garrison Brooks with the rebound, and he'll shoot 2. Well, tonight on SportsCenter, that's following Lakers and Pelicans. AD's return to New Orleans. Bucks and Lakers playing good basketball and defending Michael Thomas. It's all coming up after NBA on ESPN and the ESPN app.
Luke, I look at Garrison Brooks. He's really the only trusted low post guy that Roy Williams has had the last 2 years. 6'9", 230 pounds. He's going to get more minutes this year at the 4. I think it'll help his game. He's been very active on the offensive glass today. He's got good hands. He hasn't fumbled a pass yet. He's finished chasing a career high, right? Does he have it?
17, and I don't believe he's got his career high.
20.
Yeah, this free throw would match it. And he's got 18. That matches his career high. Loose ball. Here's Robinson. Robinson up ahead, off the glass. Bacot the putback. He's got a dozen.
Well, and all 5 North Carolina Tar Heels were at the rim within 3 seconds. The urgency that they run with for 40 minutes is really unmatched in college ball. Make him do something off the bounce. The last possession, he put it on the floor and he coughed it up. You cannot let John Petty catch and shoot.
Yeah, Petty with his 6'3". Let me correct something. For Garrison Brooks, his career high is 20. He's got 18 here today.
I thought he was getting close. Side step-up ball screen for Cole Anthony to work off of.
Good job there by Galen Smith with the block. 3:24 to go. Lots more basketball from the Bahamas still to come. Gonzaga, Southern Miss, and Oregon taking on Seton Hall. All right, Cole Anthony to inbound.
Good screen.
Looking for a lob and a throwdown. Garrison Brooks. And matches his career high with 20.
Big time out of bounds under by Roy Williams. You love it as a head coach to draw it up, execute it, and get what you want out of it. The screen and the roll out of the screen was to perfection by Garrison Brooks.
Petty, another 3. He's got 7 of them, and 23 total points for John Petty Jr.
Did he bounce the ball before he shot it? I'm just asking.
I'm not sure.
No, he did not.
Not a lot of dribbling, a lot of catch and shoot. Anthony lets the defender sail past him. Was a little too strong on that shot. Reese with the board, and Alabama looking to cut into an 11-point deficit.
I hope we get to see that out-of-bounds underplay at some point again. That was as good as I've seen this year. In a crowd, setting hard screens, knowing exactly where you want to go. Well, here we go. Watch this out-of-bounds under as Garrison Brooks is going to receive a screen right there by Leaky Black and just roll to the front of the rim. Leaky Black comes in and sets just a hard, solid screen, and they roll Garrison Brooks out of it from the baseline to the front of the rim. Man, those are energy plays for your guys.
6th dunk of the game for North Carolina. Brooks has 4 of them. Coming up on 2 minutes to go. And North Carolina leading by 11.
No, Louisville is the most likely next #1. You know who they play next week? Michigan. And you know how I feel about Michigan.
Yeah.
I like that team a lot. Now, I like this kid on the lineup for North Carolina today. They have lacked that big wing scorer. And Brandon Robinson has answered the call, put in the starting lineup after that ankle injury on November the 1st. And he's made some big threes for North Carolina today.
Shackelford puts it in for North Carolina. I mean, that upcoming schedule, I mean, you're looking at, they play Ohio State, at Virginia, at Gonzaga, and they play UCLA as well. So Roy Williams going on the road. They may play Gonzaga here. There is that possibility of playing Gonzaga here and then going out and playing the Zags out in Spokane.
Rematch of that 2017 national championship game that went in favor of Roy Williams and the Tar Heels. But that stretch of finishing up Battle for Atlantis and Ohio State, at Virginia, Wofford, at Gonzaga, UCLA. It's how you get better. Find out who you are, man. Put your kids through some adversity and some tough times. Watch them grow.
We watched Armando Bacot grow as this game has gone on. Much better in the second half than in the first half.
Well, I believe I've watched the last 3 games of North Carolina, and he's gotten better every time I put the film on. That just comes as a big guy, learning the speed of the game, the strength you have to play with, but he really pursues the ball. Like, I've seen very few plays, if I'm his coach, that I would stop and say, go get the ball. He's got that wired in about him. Very aggressive.
And Kyra Lewis with the bucket. It's a 3. Timeout, Alabama. Crimson Tide within 9.
Good ball movement by Alabama. Kyra Lewis has played the entire second half. He picked up that 3rd foul to close up the first half, and we thought it put them in a real bind, but the ball moves so much better. And again, Boog, Kyra Lewis is the one guy that Nate Oates has that can penetrate, make a pass, and now his teammate is in a closeout situation. No one else for Alabama can do that. That's the value that he has. If you're Roy Williams right now, you know, okay, we're up 9, 90 seconds to go, 91 seconds to go. The press is coming. Don't be surprised by it, and don't look for a foul. Don't expect a foul to be called. Play grown man, strong ball basketball right now and close this game out by going to that free throw stripe. Let's get ready for Michigan tomorrow.
Well, one of the things I would say about Nate Oates' team, how you doing, is the fact that they played really hard. I mean, they've competed the entire day.
You know, they're a little undermanned right now. The skill level for Nate Oates' squad is not what it needs to be going forward, but it's going to get there. And the effort has been in place. Those are the things you can't control your first year. Talked with him yesterday in front of a yacht, which, again, if you own a boat that has a boat on the boat, that's a big boat. And that's where we were having our discussion yesterday. He's getting what he wants done in terms of how they're going to play. Fast possessions, just over 14 seconds per possession. And just finding enough offense this year will be the challenge for Nate Oates in year 1 in Tuscaloosa.
Boat on a boat is a big boat, everybody. Anthony helps break the pressure, and now Robinson.
Alabama's just going to play this possession out with severe pressure. North Carolina keeps the ball hot, keeps it moving, and now let Cole Anthony close it out. That's a charge. Yeah, absolutely it is.
Roy Williams, you get the sense he hasn't loved all aspects of his team's play here today.
No, he has not. He has not loved the aspects of it all season long. He'll be the first to tell you this is a good team, not a great team. Not yet. Now, can they get close to a great team? Probably by the end of the day, and that might be good enough this year. Cole Anthony, if there's a freshman that fits the style he was recruited to better, I don't know who it is, because he is built to be a North Carolina point guard. Let it go. Should have shot it, Boog. You should have shot it. The three-point shooter at 6'9".
Leaky Black up ahead. That one partially deflected. And then fight for the loose ball. And it ends up with Garrison Brooks.
I think Brandon Robinson may have rolled that ankle again. I hope he didn't, but he was grabbing that right ankle on the scrum for the loose ball. He's played awfully well today, coming back into that starting lineup.
Yeah, he did not play in their first 4 games. Well, let's see if he's all right. Our player of the game today Brought to you by Bad Boy Mowers. Garrison Brooks matches a career high with 20 points. Garrison Brooks, our Bad Boy Mowers player of the game.
Well, North Carolina needs more scoring from someone other than Cole Anthony. Coming in this ball game, Cole Anthony getting 23 points a game. Then it drops down to Garrison Brooks averaging 12, and the only other guy in double figures is Armando Bacot. And Roy Williams again. This is now possibly going to be the 5th game in a row that they don't get 80 points. And this has been a Roy Williams squad that's always averaging in the high 80s, if not low 90s in non-conference play. They may not get there again today. That's just the offensive struggles and the growth that North Carolina is going through right now.
Offensive rebound, and Carolina controls.
Another staple of North Carolina, the tap out long rebounds, run it down, extra possessions. Just dominate you on the boards. Plus 20 coming into this tournament.
And it's just what they do. Anthony inside, kind of a Euro step, but he missed. And then good hands by Brooks to knock it out of bounds and stop Alabama from getting out and running.
How about Brandon Robinson getting right in the grill of Cole Anthony? Calming him down, grabbing him by the jersey. Not sure what he's barking at him. Cole Anthony took it from an upperclassman. That's just good ball, man. That's good culture, good chemistry, good toughness shown between Cole Anthony and Brandon Robinson.
Good feed inside, Bolden to Reese. And it's a 7-point game, 14 seconds left, and a foul on Anthony, who will march down to the other end. What's your take on our games coming up tonight? Gonzaga, Southern Miss, and Oregon and Seton Hall.
Yeah, we haven't talked a lot about Southern Miss, but just the one game film that I've watched on them, those guys play hard now. And don't think for a second that Southern Miss isn't going to talk about what Stephen F. Austin did to Duke last night when no one expected it. They were a 28-point underdog. They go in there and win that game. But Gonzaga's the real deal with Killian Tilly, who shoots it at 6'11". I think as good, if not better, than anyone else in the college game. But that last matchup, Boog, Oregon and Seton Hall, that's a real deal now. You cannot be a coward and play in that game. And Peyton Pritchard and Anthony Mathis, a guard combo for Oregon, is outstanding. And they will have their hands full, though, staying up to the beat of Miles Powell, who I was blown away with yesterday in a one-on-one sit-down conversation.
See KJ Smith backpedaling there in your screen, wearing dad's number. Kenny Smith's son into the game as the clock ticks down, and North Carolina will win this one. 76-67. Roy Williams and Nate Oates shake hands. It'll be Carolina and Michigan in one semifinal. Garrison Brooks matching a career high with 20 points, and still to come, Gonzaga, Southern Miss, Seton Hall, and Oregon. Again, our final here from the Bahamas, 76-67. North Carolina beats Alabama. For Jimmy Dykes and our entire outstanding crew, this is John Chaffee saying so long from the Atlantis. Coming up, college basketball live scoreboard. Game 3 of the Bad Boy Mowers battle for Atlantis. Gonzaga, Southern Miss at 7 Eastern, ESPNU. Now we send it to the studio. Kevin Connors, Sean Farnham, Seth Green.
All right, Boog, thanks so much.